Hello everyone, welcome back to Cars and Kelley. Today I'm going to be going over wheel and tire sizing, so just explaining what the different numbers mean when you're sorting through the wheel and tire sizing, trying to figure out what to get for your own car. We'll be going over the pros and cons, some of the drawbacks and good things about various combinations of wheel and tire sizes for any particular car, just so you can understand better what might fit your needs for your situation. So I'll start off by talking about the wheel itself, because that's usually what you'll get, and then decide from there what size tire to put on. So I'll be using my Miata as an example here. This has 15 by 6.5 wheels, and what that means in simple terms is diameter by width in inches. So this is a 15-inch wheel. First number just refers to the size in general of the wheel per se, and then the second number is the width, so how wide the wheel itself is without a tire on it. So this is 6.5 inches wide. Now in general, of course, on larger vehicles you'll see larger wheels, and on smaller vehicles you'll see smaller wheels. So in this video I'll be talking more about on any given specific vehicle what a difference in wheel size would do for that car. Now for the tire sizing, there are three numbers used to define any given tire. In the case of my tire right here, it's 195, 50, and 15. So I'll actually work back to front here. This 15 is talking about the size of the tire in diameter, kind of like the wheel. So you always want to make sure that third number is going to match the wheel you have. So I have 15-inch wheels here, therefore 15 is the diameter of the tire that I want. Now this middle number here, which is a 50, is talking about the aspect ratio, which sounds a little complicated at first, but all it means is pretty much talking about this height right here, the sidewall height. And in general, the bigger this middle number is, the higher the sidewall you'll have. And what it technically means is the percent of this width of the tire that is the same as this sidewall. So in this case, 50% of this width, that's the value of this sidewall right here. So on a thinner tire, you might see a 35 here, which means you'll have less of a sidewall here because it's less of a percent of your width here. And lastly, this first number right here, the 195 in my case, refers to the width of the tire in millimeters. So this is kind of corresponds with the second number with the wheels. So this is 6.5. I have 6.5-inch wheels. Kind of confusing, that's inches, and this is 195 millimeters, but they're referring to the same measurement in the sense as the width this way of the tire. So this is 195 millimeters wide. A wider tire for a wider wheel would have a higher number in that place. So with those specific numbers out of the way, let me get into some combinations of wheels and tires that you might see on a specific vehicle and talk about why you might choose one over the other. So if you go to buy a new car, an option you might have for the different trim levels is a larger wheel size on the higher trim level. So it's marketed as a better option per se as compared to the basic smaller wheel. But there is a trade-off, and so it's not all positive. There are some pros and cons with having a larger wheel. So first of all, if you look at the size of the wheel overall, the wheel and the tire combined, that is, has to be a certain size in order to fit under the fender and to keep the speedometer reading accurate and the same. So on a new car, if you got one that had larger wheels in the diameter, that means the tire sidewall would have to be thinner in order to make that overall size of both of them the same. And what comes with thinner tires, thinner sidewalls, is increased grip, increased handling generally, at the expense of comfort and ride quality and tire life, so how long it lasts. So when you opt for larger wheels and therefore thinner tires to fit under the fender arch, you have to understand you're getting more of a sporty kind of handling oriented package rather than a comfort and a long term. So if that's what you're going for, then by all means get a slightly larger wheel size with a thinner tire, but just know that it is sacrificing some other qualities such as the long-term life of it as well as the comfort. Another thing to think about when getting larger wheels is don't go too extreme, because the larger the wheel, the heavier it is, and so you might have increased grip from a slightly larger wheel because of that difference in tire, but if you go too large, you're really going to start to notice the weight of 4 heavier wheels versus smaller, lighter ones. So applying that thinking to this car here, I could potentially probably have 16-inch wheels on here instead of 15-inch, and that would potentially increase the grip and handling potential at the expense of some comfort and ride quality. But the reason I'm probably not going to be doing that is because this is such a small car with such small wheels and tires anyway, that part of its defining characteristics is the agility and the nimbleness of this whole setup overall. And so increasing the wheel size, therefore weight, and inertia of on all four wheels might kind of take away from some of the handling that this car inherently has. So say I want to increase the handling, maybe get some more grip out of this car, but without sacrificing so much comfort or ride quality or increasing the diameter of the wheel. There is another option, and that is keeping the same size diameter of a wheel and getting a wider one. So in this case, I have 15 by 6.5 inch wheels right here. Say I got 15 by 8 inch wheels. That would give me about 1.5 inches more width on all four of the wheels, which would essentially just give me the ability to put wider tires on the car. So I would rather this option to larger wheels, but there still is a trade-off just with any decision. So if you have wider tires because of those wider wheels, in general that will give you more overall grip laterally, and so you'll have better handling, faster cornering speeds, but at the expense perhaps of turn-in and initial kind of steering response from having lighter, thinner wheels and tires. So these decisions are something you have to make on a car-by-car basis, and so for this one, just for example, I think that increasing my wheel size by, wheel width that is, by at least 1.5 inches, and therefore going up to maybe 225 section tires would benefit this car, because they're still pretty narrow tires. This car would still be very agile and nimble, but it would benefit from some more grip just from a slightly wider tire. So to wrap it up, wheel size is defined by two values, first being diameter of the wheel and second being width, both in inches, and tire size is defined by three values, first being the width in millimeters, second being the aspect ratio or sidewall of the tire, the height, and then the third is the diameter of the tire, which has to match the wheel that you're putting it on. Hope this video has helped clear up any potential confusion you might have about wheel and tire sizes, or how to read the numbers, or what they all mean, and what it means for the driving of the car, some pros and cons about different setups, and what to think about next time you buy some wheels and tires for your car. Once again, this has been Cars and Kelley. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll see you next time.